What are your thoughts on the Bronze Man card core options being added to the game? I am for Bronze Man. There are some loopholes with the Bronze Man that they have to work on. So basically, what we decided yesterday is that I do really like Bronze Man, but there's a couple of things that they'll have to iron out, and I don't know what they're going to do about it. So the basic idea of the Bronze Man, how do you spell Bronze Man? This is probably wrong. Is that right? That's right. The basic idea of the Bronze Man is that it's in between. So you have main, and Bronze Man is in between the Iron Man. So you have Iron, boom. So you have Bronze Man is in between an Iron Man and a main. And so there are some things you can cheese in a Bronze Man. Like you could give a Bronze Man a bunch of gold and he could spend it on whatever he wanted. He could bank stand some of his professions. The one thing about the Bronze Man that I haven't decided on is like, what do you do about Oathplate shards? The Oathplate shards are like a big deal. Is like, how do you handle this? Mainly the shards. That's a little bit weird. There's a lot of items in the game like Venator Bow, like that have shards. Anything that has shards, like crystal shards, all of these, you would just need one shard and then you would be done with the grind. So you would be kind of cutting a lot of grinds into like 1/5 or 1/6 of the time. What else is an issue with Bronze Man? Crystal shards aren't tradable. So it's crystal shards is not a big deal. It's 80 million worth of shards. You don't just get shards and unlock Oathplate. So you would only be able to cheese Oathplate if you were very, very rich, right? You could buy, if you get one shard from Yama, now you can buy the rest of your Oathplate. Venator Bow, you would just need 1 out of the 5. Okay, there is Demonic Gorillas, so you have Zenites. And then you have Synapses. What else? What else would Bronze Man cut down on the grinds? Anything that you need more than one Burning Claws, you'd only need 1 claw. Noxious Halberd is 3 different pieces. So I don't think you could cheat the grind of that. Chat, can you buy a Crystal Armor Seed off of the GE? Okay, so you only need 1 out of 6. Venator Bow, you need 1 out of 5. Zenites, you need 1 out of 4. Synapses, you need 1 out of 3 or 2, depending on that. And then this would be half the grind. Oathplate shards is the biggest cheese for a Bronze Man. So the way that I look at what I kind of want a Bronze Man to be is like, it's the same thing as an Iron Man in regards to like the long grind that it takes to get gear. Like you have to earn everything yourself, but once you earn it, now you can now trade, you can now sell it or buy it off the GE. So for instance, if you grind and you make a prayer potion, that unlocks your clog, and now you can buy prayer pots off the GE. If you grind and you fish an angler, you can now buy anglers off the GE. If you loot 2 T-bows, you can sell one of them on the GE, and then you could use the money to buy runes, or you could buy but you have to make it first or acquire it through loot first to unlock it from your clog. And so that's the reason yesterday we were talking about Bronze Man. Some people, it was about we did a poll actually. It was about 30% of people said that they want Bronze Man. The other 30% of people were saying that they don't want it. And then another 30% were saying that they don't really care if it's in the game or not. It doesn't really bother them. So Bronze Man is kind of like, it's an in-between of Iron Man and main. But what's cool about Bronze Man is it starts off closer to an Iron. meaning you can't buy or sell anything. The moment that you log into the game, you can't buy, trade, or sell, or do anything. And then once you start acquiring things, it unlocks your clog. And eventually, at the very end game, you're just a main. So you start as an Iron Man that works his way towards becoming a main. Now, what's cool about Bronze Man is you can PvP. You can pick up items from PvP, but you can't equip them unless you've earned those items. So if you PvP full, if you PvP, like you kill somebody, I'm just going to make up something. I don't really know what PvP. Let's say you kill somebody and you loot full RMs, right? If you haven't done Barrows and acquired full RMs from Barrows, you can't equip those items. You can't even sell them on the GE because you haven't unlocked that clog yet. So I would say they could be in your inventory, but you can't do anything with them. So Bronze Man you can put them in the bank, but like Bronze Man is about unlocking the ability to use and sell things. So once you've unlocked it, then you've just become a main, but you keep the bronze helmet. You keep the prestige that you've earned the right to be a main. So that's basically what it is. You're starting off as an Iron Man who's trying to become a main. And I think that this mode is really cool. But there are some, I'm trying to look at what items you could cheese here and what would not be good. And if this mode fits in the game or not. I personally want it for me for a selfish reason. I think it's the best streaming mode, which means I think a lot of other people would like it too. Most of the time, if you like it, there's other people that would like it too. But there are people that just don't like the idea. I'm interested in hearing from the people who don't think that Bronze Man should be in the game and why. And that way we can have a conversation about it. Is there any other items that would be cheesed through a Bronze Man method? I feel like Bronze Man will have 0 prestige. That's why I don't like it. I don't agree with that. I mean, you're literally a main that proved that he earned every item in the game. So like that, going through all of the grinds, except some of them, like the shard grinds, can be cheesed. So if they could maybe prevent these shard grinds from being cheesed, maybe shards, maybe these 5 or 6 items aren't able to be sold on the auction house or on the Grand Exchange. Or you just say, screw it. These are the ones that you can cheese on a Bronze Man. If you have a ton of money, which not everyone is going to have a ton of money, right? So Bronze Man is there. You can PvP, but PvP does not unlock clogs. Okay, PvP does not unlock clogs. It does not unlock clogs. So you got the original Bronze Man. It did do this. That's trash. We're throwing that out. So you can PvP and get items, but you can't wear them because it doesn't unlock the clog. Everything is locked to the clog. So this is a Bronze Man. It's the closest thing that we have to what a Bronze Man would be. This is what they pulled yesterday. If Bronze Man should be in the game. And this means that they're thinking about it. I've already talked with Madalena. She really wants Bronze Man in the game. She's advocating for it right now. She's pushing for it. Mod North said that he doesn't think that Bronze Man would get enough hype or that it would be worth the time. So we're trying to kind of just have a conversation to see if this is true or not and what people think. I think it's a good idea. I know that Iron Man are a bit toxic towards anybody who's less than an Iron Man, like a Green Helm, which could bring a little bit of toxicity in the community towards Bronze Man because they're just not Iron Man. But that's just the standard Iron Man elitism. That's what RuneScape has, I would say evolved into, is just Iron Man elitism, which you can't get around that. That's just going to happen. That's not really something that you could like not make a mode for just because Iron Man elitism. If anything, we can delete UIMs and add Bronze Man if there's too many modes. I think that'd be totally fine. We could just swap those modes out. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Hardcore mains rise up. Hardcore mains is a whole nother discussion. Bronze helms get spat on by even green helms. Bronze Man more like noob man. Am I right? Good ones, guys. Good ones. I'm a main only player, but I think it's a great idea. I would play this over an iron. So is there any other items in the game, guys? Can we all put our heads together right now? And can we think of any other items that can be cheesed by a bronze man? We're talking about items that need several of the exact same component to complete. No, God Sword shards are unique. There are 1, 2, and 3. I would say Chargescape. Chargescape, you can purchase your Chargescape. Like, yeah, you could purchase quiver splinters. Once you have one piece of Bando's gear, you can devolve it or whatever it is, break it down so that you could buy like 3 tacets. And then you could break those down, and then you could craft your own Torva. Is it the same way with Arma pieces to make fortified Masori? Can you break down any Arma pieces to make fortified Masori? Or do you need each individual piece? Okay, so a small one would be Arma. And Bandos, upgrades, and then Chargescape, like splinters, buying runes for your scythe. Any other Chargescape things, tiers? So yeah, we'll just put Chargescape. But that doesn't, I don't even know if you need to say that, because Bronze Man is essentially Iron Man without a lot of the upkeep. Like, you're able to actually make the legitimate value from your items instead of just death coffering everything. So for instance, the 1 billion GP worth of dupes that I have on my Iron Man, I would have just sold that on the GE. And now I'd have a billion GP on my Bronze Man. Right? And so then I can use 1 billion GP to buy extra splinters for my quiver, which I don't really feel like doing. I can skip the Chargescape stuff. The only thing is I have a Bandos Tacet, so I could buy 2 more Bandos Tacets right now, and I could break them down to make Torva if I ever get Torva. I already have 1 Oathplate shard. This is probably the biggest issue, is the Oathplate shards. And I don't know what they would do about that, or if they would just leave it that way. I could use the 1 billion GP to buy whatever. I could buy another 500 Oathplate shards. I could just craft my Oathplate right now. The grind would be done. I could buy another Synapse. I could have bought more Zenites. But it would have taken me a really long time to get to this point, like 100 days played or more, to get to the point where I have that much GP. Unless you got it through some form of like cheesing it. So like this mode is not necessarily designed to not be cheesed. There are ways to cheese it. Like, let's say you loot, like, okay, you go and you do Perilous Moons. So then you go and you PvP somebody and they just have like 40 sets of Perilous Moons gear on them. And you're like, okay, cool, I got 40 sets of Perilous Moons gear. Then you go sell it all in the GE. So like in that regard, like, this mode can be cheesed. It's not designed to not be cheesed, and we're not trying to fix that. And you're just gonna have a bunch of gold that all you can really do with it is buy dupes and arrows and potions and Chargescape. So like I said, Bronze Man mode is kind of it's in between of main and iron. There are ways to get gold, and there are ways to acquire some items faster. And so a lot of people don't think that this mode belongs in the game, and I personally like the idea of it, but I don't know if it belongs in the game or not yet either. Just because I want it doesn't mean I think that it would be good for the game. I'm not sure, and that's the kind of the thing I wanted to talk about today. So if you have an opinion on Bronze Man, let me know what it is, if you have a strong opinion on it, and that way we can talk about it. Bronze Man mode will open the doors to iffy malarkey like Gold Man mode, where you get 2 XP and gold, but you're skulled with 1 life, and we don't need inflated game versions like World of Warcraft. Okay. You're playing a main, but only with items you got in your collection log. You're playing a main with only with items that you have in the collection log. Let me see. Sorry, that one went too fast. You're playing a main, but only with items you have in your collection log is what it sounds like to me. Yes, exactly. Crafting oath plate with shards doesn't unlock the clogs, so you wouldn't be able to wear them anyways. That is an interesting take with the oath plate shards. If you craft an item that typically does unlock the clog, if you make it yourself. So maybe there's something they could do with the oath plate to make it not do that. Bronze man can only trade other bronze man. The thing is if you can use the GE, then that is trading. You could trade through the GE. And so there's no reason to block trading if the GE is unlocked. Because people will just find ways around it. Sard, you can just GE merge for GP. You don't have to do any content. GE merge for GP. What does that mean? How would you do pots like Sarah brews? Does getting them unlock them like from TOB or other sources, or would you need to craft them? With skilling, you would have to if you buy it, if you can buy it off of a vendor, then it's automatically unlocked for you. Anything you can buy off of a vendor, like a Karambwan, would be automatically unlocked because it sells from a vendor in Brimhaven. Like, those don't need to be a clog. However, for like a Sarah brew, you would have to make one first. You have to make one first with Herblore, but you would just bank stand it anyways. Like, basically, you would get a Guam, and that would unlock Guams. You loot a Guam like right away. You go straight to Chaos Druids. You loot a Guam, Marintil, Taraman, all that shit. Then you go straight to the GE. You could buy a bunch of those, and then you just bank stand until you make a Sarah brew, and now you've unlocked Sarah brews. It would literally be an hour grind, so it wouldn't be a big deal. But you would still have to do the beginning portion of it, right? So you have to craft one. So like you wouldn't be able to use super combat pots until you were like very, very high herb lore, right? Very, very high herb lore for this. Mod North is correct. Not enough people would play this to justify the development time. So my only argument with that is that why is UIM in the game then? Nobody plays that mode, but it's an official mode in the game. I promise you, why the hell is a UIM a thing? I guarantee you 10x people, 10x at minimum, would play Bronze Man over a UIM. It's a much more desired mode than a UIM. I think UIM is easy to develop though because they just block banks. This one, how hard is Bronze Man to develop? Everything is a clog. You have to add more items to the clog. And then you can't equip it unless you've unlocked the clog. Like, how hard is that to develop? Just make everything a clog. You can't wear it or use it until you've unlocked the clog. I will never make another iron, but I'd make a bronze as a side account. There you go. Does crafting oath plate unlock the clog? So the oath plate is like the number one issue that I have with the Bronze Man, and I don't. There's a couple ways you could solve it. Just leave it as it is. If you get one oath plate and you're rich, you get one oath plate shard and you're rich. Now you just go buy a bunch of oath plate shards and then you craft your own oath plate. There's that. That's like the cheese way. The second way is you just make oath plate shards not part of the clog. So you can't buy, trade, or sell them. Or the third one is you can let people buy, trade, and sell them, but if you craft your own oath plate, it doesn't unlock the clog because you didn't loot it. So I don't know how. I don't think that's a good method, because if you actually did loot all of your own shards and then you craft it, now you can't wear it because you haven't gotten the drop yet. Which is not good either. So I think that if they just block the buying, trading, and selling of oath plate shards from Bronzeman, that would probably be the best solution. Where you have to just earn all your own oath plate shards and you have to earn your oath plate yourself. Why overcomplicate it? Just let all the Bronzemen run around with their bronze oath plate sets. There's probably two ways of looking at it. You just leave it. They go earn a shard. If they're rich, they can buy the rest of their shards and just skip the oath plate grind. Or number two, you just block the buy, trading, and selling of oath plate shards altogether, and then you make the Bronzemen earn their own oath plate. Yeah, you could just make them untradeable or unsellable. It's already a skip the grind mode. Not really. There's a lot of grind, guys. There's a lot of grinds. I just listed every grind that you can skip. We're listing every grind right here that you can skip on a Bronzeman. This is nothing in comparison to what RuneScape is. RuneScape is thousands of grinds. Then some of them are thousands of hours. And so Bronzeman gives you the validation of having to earn some of that, but it allows you to skip some of the grinds. For people that maybe want to play an Ironman, but they don't have time to do it, Bronzeman is like that middle ground mode. Applies to more casual players. Ironman is for like the big time DJs, or people who love skilling, or people who get validation from doing all of their own skilling. Some people are more combat oriented. They would like a mode in the middle that allows them to do more combat and less chores. Bronzeman appeals to that audience, and I think that it's a good game mode. And we're having that discussion right now of whether it belongs in the game or not. I'm trying to remain neutral here. You guys know that I like the idea of Bronzeman, but I want to hear everybody's arguments and like why shouldn't it be in the game? I haven't heard a lot of the biggest one is like the biggest issue that people have brought up right now is that some people think that there's too many modes and it would just split the player base or whatever even more. It just doesn't belong. That's the biggest idea. What's wrong with playing a main? Why do we have Ironman? Guys, why do we have Ironman? What's wrong with playing a main? I could say the same thing. Why do we have UIM? Why don't you just play a main? Guys, why do we have hardcore? Why don't you just play a main? Like, you need the official mode. Otherwise, nobody respects it. At the end of the day, it's kind of like about respect. Leaderboards is like a big deal. People want to see themselves on the leaderboard. People want the official mode. It represents something. When you play a game, you want your character is a representation of what you've done, and you want that validation, and that official helmet gives you the validation, and it shows everybody else that, hey, you did that. You did the UIM. Because if you were on a main and you did all the things that a UIM did, nobody would know. And so at the end of the day, MMOs are a trophy of a representation of the time and accomplishments that you've done in the game, and the helmet validates that. So you need the official mode. I would de-iron in a second if they gave us Bronzeman. There are so many people that want a Bronzeman mode because they want Ironman without a lot of the chargescape and chores. And if it was up to me, I would make all of this stuff right here not cheesable. And it would literally, you would have to earn literally every single thing yourself. You'd have to make everything one time. You'd have to get one dragon arrow, and after that, you could buy the rest of them. You know what I mean? But you'd have to get everything yourself, even all these shards and everything. You wouldn't be able to buy or trade synapses until you got 3. You wouldn't be able to buy or trade Zenites until you got 4. You wouldn't be able to sell and trade armor shards until you got 6, and you wouldn't be able to trade Venator shards until you got 5. You wouldn't be able to buy or trade or sell Oathplate shards at all, and you wouldn't be able to sell or trade bandos until you green logged it. That's how I would make it. And then that way you know that you've done every single thing that an Iron Man has done on a Bronzeman account. They might be able to code it that way, where you can't buy and trade the burning clause until you have two pieces. Like they could make it in the clog where you unlocked one. Or once you get 5 vinegar shards, now you can sell your 6th one. So how are you just going to be rich and skip chores? Dupes. You have to keep in mind that you are an Iron Man that can sell dupes on the GE. The example I gave earlier, I already sold 1 billion worth of dupes on my Iron Man, so I'd have a billion GP. There you go. I don't think the resource grind for Iron late game warrants the need for a Bronze Man mode. Oh, it definitely does. It definitely does. If a Bronze Man just AFK sailing to 99, then Amethyst to 99, they'd have so much cash to spend. You'd have money income from GE, so you'd basically skip building the finances for your account. Yo, Freelance, thank you very much for that. And Big Rokai, thank you for the prime. Guys, thank you for the subs, boys. GM, go. The fact that you're advocating for this and your chat still hates it, so it's not wanted. Well, the thing is the chat doesn't hate it. Just, you got to understand, guys, that just because you see somebody type something in the chat, that's not a representation of everyone. The negative people are always the loudest. And one thing you learn about being a streamer is that the negative people are the loudest. And just because you have one guy coming in here saying that you're a trash streamer doesn't necessarily mean that you are. You know what I mean? Because there's 90% of people that like the stream or whatever, and they're just vibing and they're just not even typing at all. So you can't just listen to a couple of people that are saying shit, because the silent people are the majority, and they're just vibing, and they're not saying anything right now. Like and most of them probably, some of them don't care, but some of them are actually on board with it, and they're not going to say anything. But the negative people, the people that don't like it, they will always say something, and so it will always appear that people are against something because they're the ones that are talking. We'll pull it, right? We can pull it again. We actually pulled this yesterday. These were the results from yesterday. We can pull this again. They should add Bronze Man 33%, not add Bronze Man 33%. I don't care, 33%. If you add these together, the I don't care and the Bronze Man, we're at like 67%. So we're gonna pull it again today. What should Jagex do? Add Bronze Man, not add Bronze Man. We're not gonna put I don't care. Today you have to vote to either add Bronze Man or not add Bronze Man. This is an official poll. Do you want it in the game or not? It has to be one or the other. If you're on the fence, today you have to vote which way it goes, if you want it in the game or not. Make a poll here. I don't know how to make a poll on Kick. I'm sorry. Should be a plugin. It already is a plugin. It is a plugin currently. Add YouTube polls. They're gonna have to figure it out over there on YouTube. I don't know if YouTube has any features like that. I'd make a Bronze Man day one, 100,000%. Damn. I really don't get why people don't want new shit in the game. Who cares? That's my issue with it too. Is like, there are people telling you that this is the mode they want to play, and you guys are like, no, I don't want you to have the mode that you want. And that I don't understand. I don't really think it harms the game very much, but there's very clearly a lot of people that want this mode. There's very clearly a lot of people that want this mode. And if there were a ton of people advocating for something and I still didn't want to play it, and I'm like, I don't really think that like I would play that mode, but like I can see that there's a lot of people that do want it, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it. Give it to them. Who cares? It's not going to take, I swear it's not going to take that much dev time. I don't think Bronze Man will be a game for RuneScape. I mean, I know a lot of people that would play RuneScape if Bronze Man was a thing. One of them is my friend Zaryu. And if Zaryu would play, a lot more people would play too. If you make a mode that content creators would like, they influence other people to play. So we get more people to come and play if Bronze Man was added to the game. 53% say add Bronze Man, 47% say don't add Bronze Man. That's a lot of people saying that they don't want it in the game. And that's 47% of people in the chat right here saying that they don't want the other 53% to have the game mode that they want. And so there has to be a really strong opinion there about why those 47% say that they don't think that this game mode belongs. And so for that reason, if those numbers were to reflect the entire player base, then they should not add Bronze Man. But Bronze Man, I do feel like would be sick for the game. I don't see how adding this damages the game. It's a hybrid Iron Man. What's wrong with it? Nothing. I wouldn't say it's a game mode I want, but I'm not against people playing it how they want to play. I like that. I like that mindset, Rambo. You don't need Jagex to create these kind of game mode. Like, just don't use the GE if you want to play Iron Man. If you die, then you're not hardcore anymore, you know? Wait, you're against Iron Man too? No, I think that we're past the idea of playing playing accounts without for the general population. I'm not talking about like the Jimmies and the Settleds and the, you know, like the guys that are making Chunkmans and stuff. I'm not talking about the Snowflake accounters. Those guys don't need official modes, in my opinion. I don't think that TCG card mode needs an official mode. Like if you want to play TCG mode, I think just play TCG mode. But I think that Bronze Man is right in the middle of Iron Man and Made, and enough people would play it to warrant it to have an official mode. I think that what makes a mode, what warrants a mode to have enough power behind it for the devs to spend time is how many people will play it, not necessarily people's people's opinion of it. If like 100,000 people would play this mode, then that might be enough to warrant dev time for it, right? Or if it would bring a certain amount of people back to the game to play it, it might warrant enough dev time for it. If TCG mode were to have more interest than a Bronze Man, and more people were like, I'd play an official TCG mode than a Bronze Man, then obviously I would prefer to have TCG mode as an official mode. So I think it would depend on like how many people, if they were to poll it, like, would you play this mode, and it has more votes than a certain than like UIM, then maybe it does deserve its official mode in the game. Twitch chat is just a base sample. If you're on Twitch, you're already way more involved than an average player, so not really representative. Right. So the polls on Twitch, they're not accurate, but it's a general idea. I think that, yeah, if you're watching RuneScape content on Twitch, you're a bit more involved in the community, usually. New game modes are just to bring a spike of new memberships to keep upper management happy with the game's revenue. Well, I'm a player who would be really excited if they were to add this mode in. So like I would be excited to have it too. It's already possible to cheat all the iron modes. Possible to cheat irons with boosting, etc. Okay. I mean, we're not really making a game mode designed around stopping the cheaters. Like, you make a game mode to have fun. If people want to cheat, they're just cheating themselves. Like, you want to minimize it, but you can't make your whole game mode designed around how do we stop everyone from cheating every single thing in the game. Like, that's not what a game is. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't do that. You don't design it around them. Would you de-iron into a Bronze Man? Probably not my main. But if I were to ever play hardcore, I would want to play a hardcore Bronze Man. Because I want to cheese some of the skilling I want to accelerate some of the skilling on my hardcore so that I can get to like the hard PVM stuff quicker. And I don't want to do Chargescape again on 2 accounts. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to charge my quiver on 2 accounts. Like, I don't want to run out of gold on my bronze man to where the point where, like, I can't. I really don't want to, like, make my own secret arrows. Like, if I'm rich, just let me spend the money. It sounds like you don't want iron. No, I'm okay with 1 Iron Man. I'm not okay with 2 Iron Men. It's too much to play 2 Iron Men. So I think that like a bronze man and hardcore bronze man is a cool sweet spot in the middle where you have to earn your clogs, earn your items that you're using, but you don't have to do all the upkeep. And so I don't see how it's hard for people to understand that there's some people that just don't want to make like another hardcore Iron Man, but they still want to play hardcore, which is why the hardcore main is circulating around. But I think that bronze man is right in the middle of both, and it solves it. It solves the hardcore main issue as well. I'd much rather have hardcore main. All right, let's do another poll then. You guys know what hardcore main is. They've also been talking about that. Let's do this. What would you rather have in the game as an official mode? Bronze man or a hardcore main? A new poll, guys. What has way more interest right now? Would you rather have an official bronze man or an official hardcore main in the game? What happens if you die? Nothing. It just becomes a main? Yes. Hardcore makes better content? Well, you could have hardcore bronze man. Hardcore main on their own servers would be really cool. Hardcore mains would have separate worlds. If it's separate worlds, guys, I swear this game mode is dead on arrival. Guys, I think if they do hardcore mains, I swear that game mode is dead. If they do it on separate servers. Bronze man is the only... no, that's the problem, is people associate bronze man with the PKing thing that they did back in the day. So you can make hardcore bronze, or you could do... I would be okay with both of these modes being added to the game, to be honest. I don't know if I would play a hardcore main, but I wouldn't mind it. If people wanted this mode, I'd be like, yeah, go ahead. Hardcore main would have max gear instantly. What is there even to play for or flex? You never earned anything. That's why people want them on a separate world. But even then, people would go and farm those items and then you could just buy them eventually. So it would eventually just lead to that. So the separate world thing is only cool for like the first month when nobody has anything. But 2 months, 3 months, a year down the road, now it's going to eventually just be more like a regular server economy. Once enough equipment and everything gets added in there. It's about not dying at hard content, not about earning mega rares. So why do you need a separate server for that? Bronze Man doesn't introduce a fundamentally different way to play. It just relaxes Iron Man rules. Yes. Essentially. The economy would be different as it's more dangerous. Gear would cost a lot more. If you die, you get kicked off the world. Yes, that's how it works. You just become a main. I don't think hardcore main status is impressive enough for people to max one. The debate is whether it is different enough to justify becoming an official mode. Bronze Man is fundamentally different. You can do all the fun stuff and buy the boring stuff. That is exactly what Bronze Man mode is. And you don't have to buy all the boring stuff. You can still do it on your own, but if you want to skip it, you can. I think any additional game modes would be a lot less controversial if you got more than one character per sub. Well, that's a whole thing. You got to talk to Jagex about that. Hardcore Bronze Man, when you die, you become a main. Bronze Man seems too niche for an official mode. Play a main if you want to buy supplies. See, I don't like the idea of... The reason I don't like the idea of thinking that something is too close to a main or like just play a main if you want to do that is like you could say that with anything. You could say that with UIM. Like just play a main and don't use the bank. Like, oh, hardcore, just play a main. If you die, delete the character. Or like if you die, just just play as normal. Or like, okay, just you want to play Iron Man? All right, just don't use the Grand Exchange and don't trade anybody. Like, why don't we all just play mains? Why don't they delete every game mode and we all just play mains again? These official game modes is what gets people excited about having that validation. The validation is everything in an MMO. We're all a walking trophy of our decisions and accomplishments. And an official mode validates those decisions and accomplishments. And that's why we play video games, MMOs, and specifically MMOs. You just want to play a main, but it's not popular on Twitch, so you want them to add Bronze Man? No, that has anything to do with it. My iron is already at a spot where I basically don't have supply upkeep issues, so Bronze Man feels pretty pointless. Yeah, there is a point. Like on my iron, people asked me yesterday would I de-iron it, and I said no. And it's because my iron is at that spot where at the very, very end game where there's some annoying things that I have to charge and upkeep, but it's not annoying enough to me to throw away the validation of getting to that point and going down to a bronze. I don't know. I mean, I don't think hardcore main or bronze man would pass a 70% vote to be added. I don't think that either of these modes will be added. But it's cool to have the conversation and see the interest. But I know one thing, man. A lot of people, they don't understand truly like what bronze man mode is, and they think it's that PvP mode where you PvP it, now you get to use the item, which can be cheese. Hardcore main, but you actually die properly. It would be fun to see people trade over gear and wipe. I see some issues with a separate server where when you die, you get brought over to the main world. I think if you died on a hardcore main, maybe there shouldn't be any smuggling allowed from the private servers at all. Like, all of that is separate economy. If you die, you lose everything, and you just spawn naked, starting over in the regular world. Let me save this. Hardcore main could not be on separate servers. I'm kind of against the separate server thing. Because I think that would I don't think that it would be very popular. Keep your stats and lose the items. That's what I'm thinking would be more along the lines so people couldn't smuggle and abuse the economy in any way. You start having issues with that. Like, people on the World of Warcraft servers, what they would do is they'd go buy like a ton of things off of the auction house before they died on their hardcore. And then they would sell it on the main world when they went over. They'd be rich on the main world because some stuff on the hardcore server economy would be so much cheaper. So they'd buy out everything. They would die, transfer their character for free, and then they'd have a ton of money on the regular worlds, which have had an economy that's been in existence for 15 years. So it's much more inflated. So people have more money to spend. And so you have like this whole smuggling issue that starts with that, and that's not good. But if you died and you lost everything, I mean, that's something. I kind of like the idea of extreme mode they mentioned. Thoughts on that? That was one of the things that I voted for, was the extreme mode to be added. I like the idea of hardcore main, bronze man, and extreme mode. I'd like for them to, delve into those ideas, pitch it to the community, and see what they think. I'm interested in hearing more. I don't know anything about it, so I can't give my opinion on it, but I am interested in hearing more. Extreme mode doesn't sound fun at all. I mean, it's a sweaty game mode for people that, you know, want to try harder content. I mean, that's kind of what Leagues is. But except without, you wouldn't have the offensive bonuses. There would just be like harder bosses, but you wouldn't be so OP. I don't know that's the concept of it in my head that I came up with, but I don't know what it means exactly. Tile locked 1 HP account Chunkman. We want a mode with every mode all in one. An official UIM hardcore Chunkman nightmare. TCG locked. That's right. Tile TCG locked one tile Chunkman. Yeah, there you go. Hardcore. Nightmare mode was the worst idea of them all. The concept of nightmare mode is absolutely terrible. It's cool for a YouTube video series. Beyond that, I think hell nah. Absolutely not.